The bar is called the Iron Horse, a dive on the outskirts of Fort Benning, Georgia, where soldiers drink cheap beer and try to forget about the training that breaks most people who attempt it. It's crowded tonight. Rangers, support personnel, locals who work on base, and a few civilians looking for trouble. Staff Sergeant Maya Brooks sits at the far end of the bar, nursing a whiskey neat. She's in civilian clothes, jeans, dark t-shirt, leather jacket, trying to be invisible. Her Ranger tab is back in her barracks. Her service record is classified. Her body count is something she doesn't talk about. She's been at Fort Benning for 3 weeks, running urban combat training courses for the next generation of Rangers. During the day, she's professional, demanding, respected. At night, she tries to decompress in places where nobody knows what she's done or where she's been. Tonight isn't going to be one of those nights. "Hey, sweetheart." The voice comes from behind her, male, drunk, aggressive. "You look lonely. How about I buy you a drink?" Maya doesn't turn around. "I'm good. Thanks." "Come on, don't be like that. I'm just being friendly." "I appreciate it, but I'm not interested." The man moves closer. She can smell the alcohol on him now. Cheap vodka, too much of it. He's with 3 friends. She clocked them when they walked in 20 minutes ago. Loud, obnoxious, the kind of guys who think the world owes them something. "What? You think you're too good for me?" Maya takes a slow breath. She's dealt with this before. Drunk men with fragile egos who can't handle rejection. Usually, she can de-escalate, walk away, avoid the confrontation. But she's tired tonight. 3 weeks of training courses, 18-hour days, dealing with recruits who think they're tough until they face real pressure. She doesn't have the patience for this. "I'm just here to have a drink alone. That's all. Please leave me alone." "Oh, you're one of those feminists, huh? Think you don't need a man?" His friends are laughing now, egging him on. The bartender, an older guy who's seen this play out 100 times, watching carefully, ready to intervene if it escalates. Maya sets her whiskey down and turns on her stool to face the man. He's 6'2", maybe 220, early 30s. Gym muscles, but no real functional strength, the kind of build you get from lifting weights and taking supplements without doing actual physical work. "Look," she says calmly, "I'm asking you nicely. Please leave me alone." "Or what?" He steps closer, invading her space. "What are you going to do about it, sweetheart?" Maya's eyes are cold, flat, the look of someone who's killed people and filed the paperwork. You really don't want to find out. That's when he makes the mistake. He reaches out to grab her arm, to pull her close, to assert dominance the way drunk men do when they think women are property they can handle. Maya's response is immediate and precise. She catches his wrist mid-reach, steps inside his range, and delivers an elbow strike to his solar plexus. The impact drives the air from his lungs. He doubles over, gasping. His 3 friends react immediately. This was supposed to be fun. A drunk guy hitting on a woman at a bar. Now their buddy is bent over struggling to breathe, and the woman who did it is standing there like nothing happened. "You bitch!" One of them, a big guy with a shaved head and tattoos covering both arms, steps forward. His fist is already cocked back. He throws the punch. That's the moment everything changes. Because Maya Brooks isn't just some woman at a bar. She's a staff sergeant in the 75th Ranger Regiment. She's completed Ranger School, Airborne School, Air Assault School, and 3 combat deployments to Iraq and Afghanistan. She's conducted direct action raids, hostage rescues, and high-value target captures. She spent 12 years learning how to hurt people efficiently, and these 4 drunk idiots just gave her permission to demonstrate. The punch comes in fast but sloppy, overextended, too much wind-up, telegraphed like a billboard. Maya slips it, moving her head 3 inches to the left. The fist passes harmlessly past her ear. She counters with a palm strike to his jaw, not hard enough to knock him out, just enough to snap his head back and make him reconsider his life choices. He stumbles backward. His 2 remaining friends are already moving, one from the left, one from the right. They think numbers give them the advantage. They're wrong. Maya tracks both threats simultaneously. Left guy is closer, right guy is bigger. She prioritizes neutralize the immediate threat, control the space, maintain awareness of all combatants. Left guy throws a wild haymaker. She ducks under it, drives her shoulder into his midsection, and uses his momentum against him. He crashes into a table. Beer bottles shatter. Civilians scatter. Right guy, the biggest one, charges like a football lineman. 270, maybe 280, thinks his size matters. Maya waits until he's committed, then sidesteps at the last moment. She drives a knee into his thigh as he passes, a precise strike to the common perineal nerve. His leg goes numb. He crashes face first into the bar with enough force to crack the wood. The first guy, the one who started this, has recovered his breath. He pulls a knife from his pocket, a folding blade, 4 inches, the kind of cheap tactical knife you buy at a gas station. The bar goes quiet. Pulling a weapon changes everything. This isn't a drunken brawl anymore. This is assault with a deadly weapon. Maya's expression doesn't change. She's faced enemy combatants with real training and real weapons. A drunk civilian with a gas station knife doesn't rate high on her threat assessment. "Put the knife down," she says calmly. "Last chance." "Screw you." He lunges, the knife aimed at her midsection. Maya sidesteps, catches his wrist with both hands, and executes a textbook joint lock. His elbow hyperextends with a sickening crack. The knife clatters to the floor. He screams. The other 3 are getting back up. They're hurt, angry, and stupid enough to keep fighting, despite clear evidence that they're outmatched. Maya picks up the knife, not to use it, but to remove it from play. She tosses it behind the bar. "We're done here. Walk away." "We're not done until I say we're done," the big guy says, blood streaming from his nose where he hit the bar. He's pulled his phone out. "I'm calling the cops." "You assaulted us," Maya almost laughs. "You attacked me." I defended myself. "There are 20 witnesses who saw you start it." "Doesn't matter, you're going to jail." That's when the bartender speaks up. "Actually, son, you might want to reconsider that call." "Why?" "Because you just picked a fight with an Army Ranger, and you lost. Badly. If the cops come, you're the ones going to jail for assault." The big guy looks at Maya with new understanding. And fear. You're military?" "Staff Sergeant, 75th Ranger Regiment, and you just committed assault on a federal service member. That's a felony." Maya finishes her whiskey. "But I'm feeling generous tonight. So here's what's going to happen. You're going to leave, all 4 of you, right now, and we're going to pretend this never happened." "And if we don't?" Maya's smile is cold. "Then I stop being generous." "Your call." The 4 men look at each other. They're hurt, humiliated, and facing potential federal charges. The math isn't hard. They leave. The bar is silent for a moment. Then someone starts clapping. Others join in. Within seconds, the entire bar is applauding. Maya sits back down at the bar. "Another whiskey, please," the bartender pours. "That was impressive, Sergeant." "Where'd you learn to fight like that?" "Ranger school, and 12 years of practice." "Well, drinks are on the house tonight. Anyone who can handle 4 guys without breaking a sweat deserves free booze." Maya raises her glass. "Appreciate it." But the night isn't over. Maya is 3 blocks from the bar, walking toward her barracks, when the van pulls up alongside her. No lights, engine running, side door slides open. She recognizes the 4 men immediately, and she knows what's coming. "Get in the van." They're armed now, not with knives, with guns, real ones. The big guy has a Glock 19. One of the others has what looks like a .357 revolver. The threat level just escalated dramatically. "You humiliated us," the leader says. "Made us look like fools. Now you're going to pay." Maya assesses the situation. 4 armed men in a van. At least 2 firearms visible. Unknown number of additional weapons. She's unarmed. Her service weapon is in her quarters. The street is empty. No witnesses, no backup. The tactical situation is bad. Most people would comply. Get in the van. Hope for the best. Maya Brooks is not most people. "No," she says simply. "What?" "I said no. I'm not getting in your van. You're going to drive away. And if you're smart, you'll never think about me again." The big guy laughs. "You think you're tough? We've got guns, sweetheart. Get in the van or I'll shoot you right here." "You won't shoot me. Because the moment you fire that weapon in a residential area outside a military base, You'll have MPs and local police converging on this location in under 2 minutes. And then you'll spend the rest of your life in federal prison. Maybe we'll take that chance. Then do it. Pull the trigger. But understand this. If you're going to shoot me, you better kill me. Because if I'm still alive, I will find you. And what I do to you will make tonight's bar fight look gentle. Her voice is calm, matter of fact, no emotion. The tone of someone stating simple reality. The men hesitate. Something about her absolute confidence is unnerving. She's outnumbered, outgunned, and completely unconcerned. Last chance, Maya says. Drive away. Now. The driver, the one who started everything at the bar, makes a decision. Screw this, grab her. 2 men jump out of the van. They think numbers and surprise will work. They're wrong. Maya moves the moment their feet hit the pavement. She doesn't retreat. She doesn't try to run. She attacks. The first man reaches for her. She traps his arm, drives her knee into his groin with precision force, and uses him as a shield when the second man tries to grab her from behind. The second man collides with the first. They stumble. Maya uses the moment to create distance, putting the van between herself and the 2 armed men still inside. "Shoot her!" someone yells. But they can't. Their own people are in the way. And Maya is moving, constantly shifting position, using the van for cover, never staying in one place long enough to be a clear target. One of the armed men, the one with the revolver, circles around the van. He raises the weapon. "Stop moving or I'll shoot." Maya stops, raises her hands, looks directly at him. "Okay, you win." He smiles, steps closer. The gun is pointed at her chest, 10 feet away, 8 feet, 6 feet. That's when Maya moves. She's been calculating the distance, the angle, the timing. 6 feet is inside the reaction gap, the distance where physical action beats armed response. She closes the distance in less than a second, redirects the gun away from her body, and strikes his wrist with the heel of her palm. The revolver discharges. The round goes wide, hitting nothing, and then it's in her hands. Now she's armed, and they're not. The other 3 men freeze. "On the ground," Maya says, the revolver steady in her hands. "All of you, face down, hands behind your heads. You're crazy." "I'm trained. There's a difference. On the ground." Now they comply, because the woman who was outnumbered and unarmed 30 seconds ago now has a gun and looks very comfortable holding it. Maya keeps the weapon trained on them while pulling out her phone with her free hand. Yeah, MP desk. This is Staff Sergeant Maya Brooks, ID number Tango 75902. I need immediate assistance. I've got 4 civilians at gunpoint outside, building 7215. They attempted armed kidnapping of a federal service member. Send units immediately. The MPs arrive in 3 minutes. Lights, sirens. Armed military police officers who take the situation very seriously when they find out these civilians pulled guns on an Army Ranger. The 4 men are arrested, weapons confiscated, statements taken. The MP sergeant, a grizzled veteran with 20 years of service, approaches Maya. "Sergeant Brooks, you okay?" "Fine, Sergeant. These idiots pulled guns on you?" "They did. And you disarmed one of them?" "Yes, Sergeant." He shakes his head in disbelief. "What were they thinking?" "They weren't. That's the problem." "Well, they're going to federal prison for this. Armed assault on military personnel, attempted kidnapping, weapons charges. They're done." Maya hands him the revolver. "Evidence. We'll need your statement." "Of course." The processing takes 2 hours. By the time Maya finally gets back to her barracks, it's past midnight. She's exhausted, but alive, uninjured, and having added 4 more arrests to the list of people who learned the hard way not to mess with Rangers. The next morning, Maya is called to the office of Colonel Marcus Hendricks, the base commander. She reports in proper uniform, expecting to be debriefed about the previous night's incident. What she doesn't expect is to find a civilian in the office. A man in his 50s wearing an expensive suit and the kind of confident expression that comes from having lawyers on speed dial. "Staff Sergeant Brooks," Colonel Hendricks says, "this is Mr. Richard Mallory. He's an attorney representing the 4 men who were arrested last night." Maya remains at attention. Sir. At ease, Sergeant. Hendricks gestures to a chair. Mr. Mallory has some concerns about last night's incident. Mallory opens a briefcase and pulls out documents. Staff Sergeant Brooks, my clients allege that you used excessive force against them, first at the bar where you assaulted them without provocation, then on the street where you disarmed one of them and held them at gunpoint until MPs arrived. Maya's expression doesn't change. Is there a question, sir? My question is, do you dispute these allegations? Yes, sir, completely. You're saying you didn't strike my clients at the bar? I'm saying your clients initiated physical contact. One grabbed my arm after I repeatedly told him to leave me alone. His friends attacked me when I defended myself. Everything I did was proportional self-defense. You broke one man's elbow. He pulled a knife on me in a crowded bar. That's assault with a deadly weapon. I disarmed him using appropriate force. Mallory's jaw tightens. And the incident on the street? Your clients approached me with firearms and attempted to force me into a vehicle. That's attempted kidnapping and armed assault on a federal service member. I defended myself and called military police. You disarmed one of my clients and held all four at gunpoint. After they pulled guns on me, yes, citizens arrest pending arrival of law enforcement, all legal under Georgia law. Colonel Hendricks speaks up. Mr. Mallory, I've reviewed the MP's report, security camera footage from the bar, witness statements from civilians. Everything corroborates Sergeant Brooks's account. Your clients started both incidents. She defended herself. Colonel, my clients are civilians. She's a trained soldier. There's an imbalance of force. Your clients pulled weapons on her, twice. They're lucky she showed restraint. Hendricks leans forward. Mr. Mallory, let me be very clear. Your clients are facing federal charges, assault on military personnel, attempted kidnapping, brandishing firearms during a felony, conspiracy to commit violence. The U.S. Attorney's Office is prosecuting. This isn't a civil matter. This is criminal. Mallory shifts tactics. We're prepared to offer a settlement, drop all charges, sign a non-disclosure agreement, and we'll compensate Sergeant Brooks for any distress caused. Maya speaks for the first time since sitting down. No. Excuse me? I said no. Your clients attacked me, twice. They terrorized civilians in a bar. They pulled guns on a street outside a military installation. They're going to prison. Sergeant Brooks, we're offering you money. I don't want your money. I want justice. Your clients need to learn that actions have consequences. Mallory looks at Colonel Hendricks. Colonel, surely we can be reasonable. Sergeant Brooks has spoken. The Army stands behind her. Your clients will face the full extent of military and civilian prosecution. Hendricks stands. This meeting is over, Mr. Mallory. Sergeant Brooks, dismissed. Maya salutes and leaves the office. In the hallway, she's met by Lieutenant Sarah Palmer, one of the junior officers in her training company. Sergeant Brooks, is it true? You took down 4 guys at the Iron Horse? Word travels fast. Everyone's talking about it. They're saying you're a legend. Maya shakes her head. I did what I was trained to do. That's all. That's not all. You proved something. Palmer lowers her voice. There are a lot of women in this regiment who face harassment, who get told they don't belong, who deal with men who think they're weaker. You showed them what happens when they underestimate a ranger. I didn't do it to prove anything. I did it because they attacked me and I defended myself. Maybe. But you still proved something. Palmer smiles. You proved that rangers, male or female, don't back down, that we handle ourselves, that anyone who thinks they can intimidate us is making a fatal mistake. 2 months later, the trial is over quickly. The evidence is overwhelming. Bar security footage showing the initial assault, cell phone videos from witnesses, body cam footage from the MPS. The 4 men plead guilty to avoid even harsher sentences. They receive 10 years in federal prison, each no parole possibility for the first 7 years. Maya doesn't attend the sentencing. She's already moved on. Back to training courses, back to preparing Rangers for combat deployment, back to doing the job she joined the Army to do. But her reputation has changed. Among Rangers, she's become something of a legend. The instructor who took down 4 armed attackers without breaking a sweat. The woman who proved that Rangers don't just talk tough, they are tough. Among potential troublemakers on and around Fort Benning, she's become someone to avoid. Word has spread. Don't mess with the female Ranger instructor. She will hurt you. Badly. Maya is conducting a night navigation course when one of her students, a young specialist on his first week of Ranger training, asks a question. "Sergeant Brooks, is it true what they say about the Iron Horse?" "What do they say, specialist?" "That 4 guys attacked you and you hospitalized all of them. That one pulled a gun and you took it from him. That they tried to kidnap you and you held them until MPs arrived." Maya stops walking. The other students stop too, listening. "Here's what happened, specialist. 4 men attacked me because they didn't like being told no. They thought being bigger and having numbers meant they'd win. They were wrong. I used my training to defend myself. They went to prison. That's the end of the story." "But Sergeant, how did you stay so calm? They had guns." "I stayed calm because panic gets you killed. In combat, in a bar fight, in any dangerous situation, panic is your enemy. Training beats panic. Discipline beats chaos. You do what you're trained to do and you don't overthink it." Another student speaks up. "Sergeant, what would you have done if they'd actually shot you?" "Then I'd be dead and they'd be facing murder charges. But they didn't shoot me because they weren't actually willing to commit murder. They were bullies. Bullies fold when you stand up to them," she resumes, walking. "Lesson here isn't that you should fight people. Lesson is that Rangers don't back down from anyone. Not in combat, not at home, not ever. If someone attacks you, you defend yourself with every skill you have. That's not being aggressive. That's being a professional." The students continue the navigation course in thoughtful silence. 6 months later, the Iron Horse has new management, new rules, new security, and a plaque on the wall that reads, "In honor of SSG Maya Brooks, 75th Ranger Regiment, who proved that Rangers don't start fights, but we finish them." Maya sees it on her first visit back. She shakes her head, embarrassed by the attention. The bartender, the same one from that night, grins. "You're famous, Sergeant." "I'm really not." "You were around here. Every soldier who walks in sees that plaque. They know what happened. They know what you did." He pours her whiskey. "On the house. Always. You don't have to do that." "Yeah, I do, because you made this place safer. Before you, we had fights every weekend. Drunk idiots starting trouble. Now, nobody starts anything. They know a Ranger might be in here. They know what happens if they start trouble with the wrong person." Maya sips her whiskey. "I didn't mean to make a statement." "Maybe not. But you did. You proved that training matters, that discipline wins, that underestimating someone because of their gender is a fatal mistake." He leans on the bar. "My daughter's in Army basic training right now. She wants to try out for Rangers. I was worried, thought it might be too hard, too dangerous. Then I saw what you did, how you handled yourself, and I realized she's going to be fine. Because Rangers like you are showing her the way." "What's her name?" "Jessica. Jessica Palmer. If she makes it through selection, tell her to look me up. I'll make sure she gets good instruction. I'll tell her. She'll be honored." He refills her glass. "To Rangers, the ones who don't back down." Maya raises her glass. "To Rangers." The bar is filled up. Soldiers from the base, civilians from town, people looking for a good time. Nobody's causing trouble. Nobody's harassing anyone. The atmosphere is relaxed, friendly, safe. A young woman approaches Maya's seat. "Excuse me, are you Staff Sergeant Brooks?" "I am. I'm Private First Class Chen. I just finished AIT. I'm hoping to try for Ranger School next year." She hesitates. "I heard what you did. How you handled those guys. I wanted to say thank you." "For what?" "For showing me it's possible. I've been told my whole life that women can't be Rangers, that we're too weak, too emotional, too soft. But you proved that's garbage. You're a ranger. You're tough. You don't take crap from anyone. Chen stands straighter. When I go through selection, I'm going to remember you. Remember that if Staff Sergeant Brooks can take down 4 armed attackers, I can get through Ranger School. Maya looks at the young soldier, sees herself 10 years ago. Same determination, same drive, same refusal to accept that gender determines capability. Private Chen, here's what you need to know about Ranger School. It's going to be the hardest thing you've ever done. You'll be cold, wet, hungry, exhausted, and pushed past every limit you thought you had. People will doubt you. Some will want you to fail. But if you've got the heart, the discipline, and the refusal to quit, you'll make it. Gender doesn't matter. Heart does. Yes, Sergeant. Thank you, Sergeant. Chen returns to her table where other young soldiers are waiting. Maya watches them, the next generation preparing to take on challenges that will break most people who attempt them. The bartender notices. You inspired them. I just did my job. Your job doesn't include taking down armed criminals, but you did it anyway, because you're a ranger, and rangers don't back down. He grins. Those 4 idiots learned that the hard way. Maya finishes her whiskey. They did. Question is whether anyone else will learn from their mistake, or if we'll have to teach the lesson again. If we do, I hope you're here to teach it. I hope I'm not. I'd rather just drink my whiskey in peace. Fair enough, but if trouble starts, it's good to know there's a ranger in the house. Maya stands, leaves cash on the bar despite the offer of free drinks, and heads for the door. As she leaves, she hears the conversations at other tables, soldiers telling the story of the night Staff Sergeant Maya Brooks took down 4 attackers. Each retelling adds new details, embellishes the violence, turns the incident into legend. She doesn't correct them. Legends serve a purpose. They inspire. They warn. They remind everyone that actions have consequences, and the legend of the ranger who didn't back down serves one very clear purpose. It tells everyone at Fort Benning and beyond that underestimating a ranger, any ranger, is a mistake you only make once. They threw a punch at her. Then they learned why fighting an army ranger ends badly. And every drunk idiot who hears the story thinks twice before starting trouble with a woman in a bar, because that woman might be a ranger. And rangers don't lose fights. They end them. 1 year later, the Ranger Training Brigade conference room is packed with instructors, officers, and senior NCOs reviewing the new self-defense curriculum being implemented across all Army training facilities. The program is called Brooks Protocol, named after the incident that proved existing training wasn't adequate for real-world confrontations. Maya sits in the back, uncomfortable with the attention. On the screen at the front of the room, video analysis breaks down the bar fight frame by frame. Her movements, her decision-making, her use of proportional force. This is what we're teaching now, the instructor says, pointing to the freeze frame of Maya executing the joint lock that disarmed the knife-wielding attacker. Sergeant Brooks demonstrated textbook application of combatives training under real-world pressure. No excessive force, no unnecessary violence, pure professional execution. Colonel Hendricks stands. The Brooks Protocol isn't just about self-defense techniques. It's about mindset. Staff Sergeant Brooks didn't panic when outnumbered. She didn't escalate when she could have de-escalated. She used exactly the force necessary to neutralize the threat and no more. That's the standard we're training to now. After the briefing, several instructors approach Maya with questions. How did she stay calm? What was she thinking during the armed confrontation? Would she do anything differently? I'd do exactly the same thing, Maya tells them, because I wasn't trying to win a fight. I was trying to survive and get home safely. That's what we should be teaching, not how to beat people up, but how to protect yourself and others when violence finds you. A young lieutenant asks, Sergeant Brooks, what would you say to soldiers who are afraid they can't handle a situation like that? Who think they're not strong enough or trained enough? Maya considers the question carefully. I'd tell them that strength isn't about muscles. It's about discipline, training, the refusal to give up. Those 4 guys were bigger than me. They had numbers. They had weapons. But they didn't have training. They didn't have discipline. They didn't have the mindset that says, I will survive this no matter what. That's what Rangers have. That's what we teach. And that's why we win. Lieutenant Palmer, now Captain Palmer after a promotion, joins the conversation. The sergeant's impact goes beyond just this incident. Female recruitment for Ranger selection is up 40% since the story went public. Women see what she did and realize they can be Rangers too, that they don't have to accept harassment or violence, that they can fight back and win. That's not why I did it, Maya says quietly. I know, but it's the result anyway. You became a symbol whether you wanted to or not. The Ranger who proved that underestimating someone because of gender is a fatal mistake. That evening, Maya returns to the Iron Horse for the first time in months. The plaque is still there, the bar is still safe, and the bartender still pours her whiskey without being asked. Heard you've got a training protocol named after you now, he says. Unfortunately. Don't be modest. You changed how the Army trains soldiers for self-defense. That's legacy. I just want to train Rangers and do my job. You're doing both, and inspiring a generation while you're at it. He slides the whiskey across the bar. Those 4 idiots did you a favor, you know. How's that? They gave you a platform. A story that proves Rangers are as tough as we say we are. They proved that talking tough and being tough are different things, and they learned the hard way that you don't throw punches at people who've spent their lives learning how to win fights. Maya sips her whiskey, watching the crowd. Soldiers, civilians, people from all walks of life sharing space peacefully. No fights, no harassment, no trouble. You know what the best part is? The bartender continues. Those 4 guys are in federal prison telling other inmates they got beat up by a girl. And every inmate who hears the story says the same thing. You attacked a Ranger? What did you think would happen? Maya almost smiles. Justice has a sense of irony. Justice has a Ranger tab, and anyone who forgets that learns the lesson those 4 did. He raises his own glass. To Staff Sergeant Maya Brooks, the Ranger who reminded everyone that legends aren't born. They're earned in moments when you refuse to back down. Maya raises her glass in return. Not to herself, but to every Ranger who came before her and to everyone who will come after. To the quiet professionals who do the job without seeking glory. To the warriors who prove every day that discipline, training, and heart matter more than size, gender, or bravado. They threw a punch at her. Then they learned why fighting an Army Ranger ends badly. The lesson is simple. Rangers don't start fights, but we always finish them. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to hear more powerful stories of brave women in uniform.